Hi everybody. I got many requests from the members of the groups to make some video tutorials. So if you open, I take screenshot of the discussions. One of the members was asking how we can bypass the verification of usernames or password or the login. And I answered that each app has different way, so each app should be treated differently. But he requested also like an example just to show how the logic behind it. So this is the first point we are going to address in this video. The second point, our friend here was requesting also a video tutorial because they are struggle working with Smali code and they don't know really what they do and where they start and how they start their investigation. As I mentioned many times, modding an app, it's like investigating a crime scene. So you need to collect evidence and you need to think how the developer was trying to protect their apps. And other things is just some skills you will slowly try to learn day by day if you are not afraid of try to understand a code. If you want just a fast solution of the modded version and look on compare modded, not modded, and don't analyze why this changes has been made, you are not going to learn fast. So my suggestion here is to try to crack an app, recommended a video app. So let's go to Empty Manager. This app is my Plex Pro 3.5 revision 2. And as you can see here, I have the modded version. I already did that. And because this video tutorial is going to explain actually how Smali code works and some of the basics, I will probably go to this file here and show you some instruction, how we can understand it. Of course, I'm not going to go to all the instructions, but I'm going to explain those instructions maybe slowly, and I refer to this Smali bytecode to try to understand or look on search if this is the code exists in this file or not. Remember that what it is in the Smali bytecode file here is what is related to Java and Android, is not what the developer creating as a method for themselves. But the concept is exactly the same. So let's start first by installing the app. And before I install the app, I will show you that this app says that has no protection. So it's not like is encrypted or something like that. But in reality, there is some protection. I will show you this type of protection. But let's go and install it first. So this video, I will divide it in sections because for sure it's going to be very long. And probably some people cannot download like 200, 300 megabyte video to learn. So this is the starting of investigation. So when you want to investigate an app, you need to, when you open it, try to see what the app is asking you. First of all, app asking some permission, which is okay. Then we have this logo here, what we call the splash screen. Then the app detecting something in my phone said like, hey, you are not allowed to run this app because you have Lucky Patcher on your phone. So the app, when it start looking if there is any, what they called it, like illegal app on the phone, which is responsible of modifying their app or editing their app, and they will stop running the app. So there is some tests start at the beginning. So we are going first to try to attack this test. I will show you if I don't have any other button than exit. And wherever I'm going to click on the screen, nothing is going to happen except when I click exit. And when I click exit, the app is going to close. So I cannot go anywhere if I have this type of message. So if I click anywhere on the screen, nothing will happen except if I click exit. So the app closed completely, didn't allow me to go to the next step. So this is something interesting we need to look at, how we can bypass this type of message. So like I said, it's like crime scene. So we need to investigate, take evidence from what we are seeing here to try to see how we can find this information inside the code. So there is different way we can attack this problem. First way, we know that we have a dialog box, but we know that we have another dialog box under. So if we go to this dialog box and we try to look on the code, I don't know which dialog box I'm going to look at. Number 1, number 2, or probably potentially there will be more dialog box in the app. But this is something we can also look at. Like I'm looking for all the dialog box app here, and dialog box is actually Android. So you can find in Android what is the name of the dialog box in the code. This is one thing we can do. Second things, we know that this dialog box has a title, has a content, a text here, and has a button. So we are investigating this dialog box to see how we can find it in the code. So the title is has, if you look, has different font size than the remaining. So for me, this will give me an idea that the title is not written in the same time as the remaining of the code. But if I look on all the text here, if I look like on the word please, there is probably another dialog box has the word please in it. So it's not like a good word to look. I can write all the text here and try to find it. But what if the developer didn't use this text clearly as you can see it here, but it was an encrypted text? You will never be able to find it. So the third method how we can attack to this is when I click on the button exit, the app is going to close. And we know that in Android, the closing app, to close the app, what is the function? So we can go and look at this function also, see where inside the app, maybe there is another exit inside the app to exit the app. So will be 2, 3, 4, 5 places where the app has a button to exit. So we reduce the search to at least 4 or 5 places. Now, if we are lucky, my method first is to try to find a unique word inside this dialog box. Security detected probably is not unique. Probably any security detected, if someone has, other than Lucky Patcher, if someone has like APK Editor Pro, maybe the app would say, oh, you have APK Editor Pro, I cannot install it. Or you cannot run it. How the app knows that I have Lucky Patcher? This is also another way we need to think how the developer check that Lucky Patcher exists on my computer or on my phone. So Lucky Patcher or any other app has a very, very specific format of text saved on the phone. Like app1.app. So it has a name. They will look at the name. If they found the name exists in your computer, in your phone, then the app will stop running. Say, hey, I got something. It will show me this pop-up and say, remove Lucky Patcher to make it work. But we need to make it work. So the first thing I'm going to check is a unique word. And a unique word for me is Lucky Patcher. Because usually Lucky Patcher is like 2 words. Lucky space Patcher. Here, they make it in a very specific format. They attach it all together. So this is maybe a sign for me that there is something, maybe I can play around. Let's check. So let's exit here and let's go to Empty Manager. We will go inside and we click on View to see the app. It opened all the file here. I explain in the introduction of Empty Manager that all the section is where the code is. Sometimes some of the code will be saved here. Like you see in the asset, I found the network code is here. So sometimes you need to go here and try to look to see what it is inside this file also. And the other interesting part will be this file, the resources, and the real resources file where all the XML exists here. In some games, library, lib, could be also interested. But for us, we are not going to describe. We are going to focus on finding the Lucky Patcher things. So where I will start? I don't know. I open the app. I don't know where I will start. So in Empty Manager, and this doesn't require VIP or whatever. Everything I'm going to explain doesn't need VIP, guys. Do not spoil by people who said you need VIP to be a really good modder. It's not true. First thing I will go and we do here, there is 2 types of search. The XML search and the other search. The other search, the first one, is the general search. So I start with this one. Here, I will leave it as all files, all extensions, anything I'm looking for here. Then I will click on Advanced Search to tell him what I'm looking for. So what is the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for a word. It's Lucky Patcher, but in one word. Let's say, okay, let's see if we are lucky to see something. The general search is going to search inside the dex file and inside the XML file and inside everything. We didn't find anything. Let's see. Oh, let me see why. Because of my problem here. Actually, I wasn't looking for lucky patcher, but I was looking for another word. Okay, let's look here. Let's do again. Oh, we have found 2. How many he will find? Okay, 2. Oh, interesting. If you notice, the word lucky patcher doesn't exist in any XML file, in anything. It exists inside the text file. So guys, when you see that, let me go back to the app. This box you are seeing here, when the app starts, dialog box, actually is completely created in the text file in Java. It's not created in XML file or whatever. So all these words here are all created inside the text file. We find 2 places. Let's go investigate these 2 places and see how we can bypass this. So I know that in 1 and 4, I will have it. So in the first one here, and the number 4. So I can go and said I want 1 and 4 to open. But my way is like, why I will do that? Let's open everything. And I know that between 1 and 4, I will find this message. But I will show you why I will select everything. Okay, so I go to search. And now I need to search the word lucky patcher. Yeah, is the correct. And I will search in all the paths. This is me when I make slash, so I'm an origin of my folders. And I need to search like without matching the case. If I want to match the case and I know that the exact word I'm looking for is capital L and maybe capital P, then I will do it like that and I will match the case. But for me, whatever, find anything related to lucky patcher just to guide me. And I will choose here Smali as the choice. This means look everywhere in any place in the Smali code. This guys could take some times. Here we have 5 files, dex files, a lot of code inside this app. So if you don't know where to go, you will be lost for sure inside the app because the app is going to take you anywhere. There is like thousands of lines, if it's not million. But look, the search was very, very restricted actually. The word lucky patcher, how I look it with capital L and P, exists in one place. And the others are actually, you can see here, are actually the name of the package of lucky patcher. So these 2 places are very, very interesting. Let's go for the first one, see what it is. So we click here. I saw the lucky patcher was loaded as a string here. But remember, I don't have lucky patcher alone. I have it in a sentence, like I have all the remaining text. I cannot see it here. So they don't exist. So let's go very quickly and try to understand what this code do. Go down, app. Oh, I'm seeing something interesting here. First, I'm seeing pirate. So, piracy checker to check if I have anything to stall information. And if I go down, I have this package, but they are written in a funny way. Each letter apart, because when you try to look on the package, you are going to look on com, dot, whatever. Here they divide it in letter by letter to make it hard to find it in the search. You cannot find C alone because you will have million of C. Any C inside the code will appear, not just when it's alone. So this is a trick just to trick us to not find the message. But because I look on something very particular, I was able to find the lucky patcher here. And the package of lucky patcher is loaded here. Com, she, pa, 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 pa. So all this letter, you put them one close to each other, like here in this case, you put C, then O, then M, then point, then C, H, E, whatever. And you create the package name. Okay. So I go here, up, and I see the method. It's called getApps. Interesting. So this method, it seems that is going to check in on my phone on apps. Go inside. There is many apps he's going to check. It doesn't finish. Oh, so for me, like if I have the app also game hacker, I will receive this message. The game hacker. What else? Game killer sheets. I will receive also a message that you have games, all these apps. Okay, but what we can do here? Are we in the good place or not? We don't know. So wherever you are inside a method, like randomly, and you want to know the name of the method you are in, like now I am in method, I know that it is related to the app, you can click on, what's happened here? Okay. You can click on this surf icon, and it will tell you that you are inside the app get apps. The beta version of MT Manager, if you click here, you can find usage of this app. This is something very, very, very practical. Let's do it for now, and I will show you how we can do it in different way if you don't have the 2.9.1 beta version. And remember, this doesn't need you to be VIP to use these functions. So when you click find usage, before I click, I will show you something also interesting in this version. So this name here is library utility kit, KT. Remember that. So I go here, let's see where in the code somewhere the get apps has been called to check if I have any of this illegal app on my phone. It has been checked one time on the same library. So I will go to this place. It has been checked on this place here. So when this was called, this way here is mean like I'm calling the method get apps from library kit, who has this is as an input, the list, array list, and as an output is also an array list. So this get app has been called on this one place. So we are lucky. So when this lucky patcher appear on the screen when we open the phone, is because there is an other place calling this get app. And this other place is just one place, is here. So let's analyze this code here. And we see, okay, so this is very, very complex. First thing I look at, I click here again. And this method's called, look how funny it is, get pirate app. And this is all this input and the output behind. So let's go to this on the top of it. Oh, actually, you can go on top by click on it directly. It takes you on the top of the method. But the line we find is inside this method. So if we go on the top, this is the name of the method. The first thing, you have the name. You have parentheses. Inside the parentheses, you have all the input. And outside the parentheses, you have the output. So let's analyze this. The input of this has, first input is type of context. Second input, you see the Z here. There is no dot or any signal. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 Z, mean 4 logic input. So you have one context, 4 logic inputs, and an array list. So you have 6 input. One context, the first one, the other one are logic, and the last one as an array list. The output is interesting. The output is something came from my GitHub. It's called pirate app. So the developer of this app use a package from GitHub to do it. By checking this is the same guy, this guy who write this package, is the same guy who write the HTTPcanary, whatever. So it's it's a very funny way to use someone else who did the job and add the package to your app. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. This get pirate, as I said, is going to take one input, other logic, and an extra app here as a signature, P5. So this is all the input. And when we go here, it's going to check the app. APK is going to check if the app was installed or not. Is going to call the package manager, which is something from Android. So when you install an app on your phone, you are going to use package manager. So this app will call package manager and check if this app is installed on your phone or not. After you do this, get package manager is going to check you all the app installed on your phone. And then from all this app is going to find the illegal app by comparing to the list he have it with the get app, like Lucky Patcher, Game Killer, or whatever. So this is a really funny way. And after, he keep doing again. He check other things inside. He check the stores. Okay, so all this is, to be honest with you, are still useless for me. I would like to know who also call this get pirate app. This get pirate app somewhere is calling get app. That where is the Lucky Patcher inside. But there is also another place in the code who called this pirate app method. So let's check out who called this method, because here I'm not going to go and check each method by itself and disable it. I need to disable it from the beginning to accept any app, not just Lucky Patcher. So let's do it again. Go here and find users. If we are lucky, we will not have very long list. Ah, okay, we have one list. One place this app was called, it's in a piracy checker. The name is like scary. And this name is where was called in the GitHub. Okay, so let's go inside and see. Okay, so this is the method. It's called getPirateApp, was called on this line. Before this line, there was also loading all the extra apps, enable APK check, enable folder check, enable store check, enable app unauthorized app check. So here, before they load this app here, he did all these checks before. And then there is a lot of if. So there is a lot of tests happen. If this is like that, do this. If this is like that, do that. So for me, I still think the return of this is, sorry, let's analyze the input and output. The input is a z. So it's 0 or 1, true or false. This is as an input. Do you want to do extra verification or not? If you do extra verification, everything is going to happen inside this method because the return is just void. So do nothing. Everything is executing inside this. And let's say the message we see about Lucky Patcher is going to happen because all are going to be here. And when you finish, it's going to be void. Nothing is returned. Everything is happening inside. So the message is happen inside this box here. Now we got the lotto. We win. We find actually more precisely what's happened. We know from the name that it has one input, and this input is a z, so it could be true or false, or 1 or 0. But this input is not set inside this, it came from somewhere else. So when this do extra verification was happening, before it happened, we will give this function or this method the input. We want to do the verification or we don't want to do verification. So here, if we go check where this do extra verification again was called, and we said, don't do the verification, put the number before this as a 0, so don't do this, it's not going to be executed any of this code here or any of the code inside it. So, again, I told you the way we go here, I can go here and do find usage, but how we can do it in different way. So let's do it this time in another way. I know that this one, I copy it, and I know that this is exist in piracy checker. So I go back to my search, and I paste the function, and I search it, but I want to see this function came from piracy checker. So let's see who called this and how he set the 0 and 1. Okay, all this function was called inside the same application, so no confusion here, is so easy to follow. One of it is the method where we was inside, and two other places are here and here. The method, we check it already. So if you go to the method, we check it already. The topper one is somewhere was called. So in this do extra verification, this was called, and the third places is here. So here, the third places was called inside verify function. In verify function, they set, okay, let's go, the one who want to learn Smali, this is a good function. The function name is do extra verification. It takes one input as z and one output as void. So nothing is going to be returned, everything is going to be executed inside this one. Now, if you see the remaining of the code is invoke direct, it has two parameters. It's a where the library do extra verification exists in piracy checker, who is exist in this all library in GitHub library. But this two input has two parameters here, v0 and p0. But look at this carefully. This is the secret. This function will take one input. So which input is this function going to take? v0 or p0? This function is going to take v0. P0 is what we called the this dot, or it refers to itself, or it will be the output of this function. But here the output is a void, so there is nothing, so it's referred to itself. And this V0, the Z, is set here. And we know that if it's set to 1, true, it means do this extra verification. If it was set to 0, it's not going to do this extra, it's going to skip this. This is interesting. So one way, I can come here and make it 0. And we think that it works. And we test it and we check if it's going to work or not. But because we are not just beginner, we want to understand more what's happening here. We need to dig a little bit deeper again in the code and see. Before we do any changes, let's understand the code. Before this being called, there was a condition happen. So this message, or this lucky patcher message, is appear on my screen based on a test happening before. And this test, when this test has happened, he said in a condition, continue the next line or move to this line. We don't know what's happened, but we know that this is called condition 83. Let's go up and find where is this condition 83 happen. We go up, we go up, we go up, we go up, we go up. Oh, yeah, I see it here. Let's see if there is another place. So it's on line 1498, almost 1500. And if we go up, we are looking for 83 condition. We didn't find it. The only place make it jump directly is on this place here. So there was this condition. Is this condition, is it true? It will move directly to condition 84 and show this message. If it was false, it will move to the next step. What was happening before this condition? This condition said if V0 equal to 0. So if V0 got equal to 0, or in hexadecimal 0xo, move, jump to line where the condition 83 is. This was set at this function here, because the output of this function is az. So the output is 0 or 1. In this case, if it was 0, if enable LVL was false, then show this message. If enable LVL was true, then continue. Continue doesn't mean don't show the message yet. Continue mean don't show this message, don't execute the last message now. Something else we need to see. If the code, when it flow naturally down, if it didn't jump, if it's going at the end to arrive here to do this, or is going to skip this step or not. So in this case, if you are on this line, it said skip to 87 to here, which is going to skip this nasty code. If he was here, naturally skip. So if the code are flowing naturally from up to down, at the end, without any condition, because here there is a condition, maybe it didn't jump, it continue. But if it arrive at the end, naturally is going to let you go and skip this nasty code. So, do we want how we can make this changes? As I said, I will try simply changing this to 0 and see maybe it will execute and said I have application, but it doesn't show me the bad message, this bad boy message. I'm not going to see it. Or I will go up and modify all of this. Something else I like to check. Is all this test here inside this method verify? Is all this tests are related to this bad message on piracy checker? Let's see. The first one, function related to piracy checker. Piracy checker. Piracy checker error. Do not allowed. Something like piracy checker. So all this box seems for me still not the beautiful place. So maybe I can go deeper in the code and not let this verify function happen. Okay, let's do this. I like that. So let's go here and see who called this verify function. And remember, before we do this, you need to know what is the name of this function, which is piracy checker of this library. So we go here. Yeah, I didn't made any changes actually. I return it back to 1. Okay, this verify also happened twice. You see how many level we go up from the message, Lucky Patcher. We jump up now 5 times. We see who called this, who called that, who called this, who called that, and now we keep going up. And this way, this library, any app is going to use it. You can, for sure, mod it in the same way. Except if they did update for this package and they change the code. So we have 2 places. Let's see the first place. This verify was also happening in all the policy, blah, 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 and in the start. So this is the beginning of this test. Oh, interesting. Let's see again, what does the second one say? Second one, you see it is annotation. So it's not inside the code. So more likely is going to be happen in any places here, but more likely in the init one. So this one here, that is a start. And this inside the start, we called verify. And inside the verify, we called another one, and another one, and another one, until we arrive to this message. So for me, it's the same concept. Let's see, in the start, what I like to see when I go to a method, I like to see those beautiful if jump. To see if there is any condition, well, to make it good or make it bad. Let's see, allow callback. If it was not equal to 0, the output, go to condition 12, which is here, and do this verify. If it was equal to 0, continue. Now you have another test. If this do not allow callback, not equal to 0, can again jump again to 12. Or continue here. But look, something interesting. Let's analyze it again, slowly. The first test, if allow callback was true, show this nasty verify test. If it was false, check now is do not allow callback, is it true? If it was true, again, show this nasty boy. If it was false, continue. But when you continue, blah, 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 you will finally arrive to the same place. So whatever I'm going to do in this method start, I will finish by executing this, whatever was the condition. So I'm not in right place. Who called the start? Let's do it again. I don't know, guys, if you have fun like me, but when I said you need to go deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper into the code, one changes can make all the difference. And this video got very long, but don't worry. It's very, very useful. So we have here 3 places. The last places is exactly the same. So we are not going to ignore this. Here we have 2 different places. One of them are very, very suspicious for me, the main activity. So once the app start is going to call this verify message method, where inside is going to verify if you have those app on your phone, blah, blah. If you have it, you appear this message. Suspicion. This is a good place to hack it, because I don't think we can go deeper than the main activity. The second place is the details activity. So let's see which one we need to start. For my experience, I will start with detail main activity here. And let's see. Remember, now this here is a bad boy, okay? So this is what we need to remember, that this message is not something we like. And some of the colleague members, when I fixed this bad message, he got another message talking about the ad block. It's here. We can also disable this. So let's go see if there is any check to arrive to this, or just it flow naturally. Let's go up, let's go up, let's go up, let's go up. They're all flowing very, very naturally. There is no test. Okay. Go up, go up, go up, go up. Huh. Oh, very interesting. I will come back to this one. Let's go check the second one. Go back, go back. Do you notice that it looks exactly the same? Almost the same. What do you think, guys? In these 2 places, there is a lot of things happening before actually the real app starts. Let's go to the main activity and analyze the code. The onCreate code is when the app starts, and this will start, the onCreate. It said, first thing you will do, you will check some code here at the beginning, set them. Then there was a string. This string is encrypted string. You will decrypt it, and you will give the value of this decrypted value to v0. Then you will take this decrypted value, v0, and you put v1. I'll show it again. So this is a string. You take this string, which is saved inside the v0, you put it as the input of this function. You decrypt it. The decrypt version will be saved now here in v0 again. You put this decrypt version here. You put the v1 equals 0 here, and you will get the result saved in the this. You return it, and you save it in v0, and you continue. So here we have some encryption. Okay, guys? I will talk to this in the second video, how we can decrypt those nasty messages. But let's go again and see what's happened. So we have all this to say, okay, we have one string. Then here we have another string. Then it's going to check, is it dark? Is dark mode? When it's Z, it's asking, is it dark? Is it true? Continue. If it false, jump to 27. Now you see we have those stuff here. I will explain this part in the next video. The interesting things here, how the app is going to decide if it's dark theme or lighter theme, and how it load different theme, and then how we can bypass this nasty message. See you later. Okay guys, part 2. Let's go back a little bit, and I'm showing you that I'm going to go back because I think I skipped how we disabled this message. But let's go back. It's the last part of the part 1 movie. So I went back to check, do extra verification where this function has been called, or this method where it was called before. So like I said, we have 3 position, and I want you to remember that because this is the things how we will disable it. The first place, it was on this axis. We have access, do extra verification. This will take 2 inputs, the GitHub privacy checker as an input, and it's going to take also a number, integer number, could be 0 or 1, and it's going to return just void. So as I said, when function return void, it means everything is executed inside the method. There is no impact on what is coming after it. So in this case, we saw that this is the message. We check also in the second place, and we saw that the second place exists in the verify function. Now, remember on the last video, we were checking all this verify function, and we see that all are related to privacy checker, privacy checker, privacy checker. And then we said, okay, let's see where this privacy verify function has been called. I went back, and we saw that it has been called in start function here, and this is the verify function, and we analyzed this one, and we saw that it has been called in start function. And then we check where the start function has been called, and we found that it has been called in the main activity. Now, because whatever I'm going to choose in the start function is going to finish with the verify, my thinking is, because this is a returning void and has almost no input, I can go like, let's show you guys this. I can go to main activity where the start function is, and just like comment this line. So the start will not show, and then nothing will show after. So I go here, and this line, because it's returning just void, I can count here and finish it. And this, while it's running the main activity and the start will happen, nothing will be verified, and nothing will be extra verification, and get app will not be executed, and nothing will be loaded. But what if this is start also happen in another place? So it's mean like I need to comment this line here. I'm not going to do it right now because it's still for the same explanation. And I need to go here and then disable this line also. So I need to do it in the two places. But I noticed something is also interesting, because when I go to start function is going to run stuff here. And then at the end is whatever is going to happen. What it's matter for the start function is the verify. And we know that if we go to verify, also verify is like a start. It has no input and returning just void. So different way could be used here to block this, because if I go one more time, like I show you, so I went to the start and to verify, and we notice that, oops, and I show you that the verify also go from do extra verification. So as I said, there is a different way, many way to disable this message. One way I make comment on the start, then they will not run at all, and it's not going to happen in all the places where the start will appear. Or if I want, instead of commenting the start where it is and not let this run happen, I can just return void here in the start. So when the message is, the start is going to be called, it's not going to execute anything. And then by another way, we avoid running this one. If you don't want to do this and you want to do it in different way, so let's go and do this also. Let's say you didn't go as deep as this and you just arrive to verify, and you notice that verify is where everything is happening. Verify is very long list. But guys, don't be scared. Try. See, what if when it's go to verify method, I don't want it to do anything. There is no input and the output is void. So because there is no input, I'm not going to worry what is going before it. It's going to be called as entity by itself. Or I can come here, and because it's returning void, I can also say return, let's say, void here. All this method are going to work. So any method, sorry for this. Any of this method are going to work. So let's go and check which method I want to do. But if I want to make verify disable, like this, it's on this level I'm going to do it. Or like we said, if I said, let's see who called verify, and I went to start and I make a start void at the beginning. Or I went to main activity and the other activity, detail activity, and comment the lines. All this method are the latest places where or the first place actually, where those check are starting. So I can come just here and disable this one, or I can come just here and say, so you know what, the start I want to disable it. So I can do return void on the start. And as I said, if I go check who called the start, will be these two places. I can go also to these two places and comment the line. So this is the way how we can block those messages. And now I want to focus on another point. So like I said, I can come here and said disable this line, because it doesn't depend on anything. Just remove it. Remember, there is no input and the output is void. So disable this line is not going to hurt anything, and it's going to avoid the message to happen. And I can save it. Can go back here and detail and also disable this line. So the two places where this start sequence of checking if there is any of the app and give the messages or whatever is happen, I block it from the beginning of the check. Now, when I went to main activity and I went, like I said, on one create, I saw that I have some encrypted and message. This string is going to be decrypted, and the decrypted version of the string, or the string who is decrypted, is going to be solved in the v0. How I know that? Let's check Smali. So, because I'm doing this tutorials to teach you how Smali work and how you can figure out how you understand Smali. So it turned out that the function is helping me to understand what it's doing, decrypt. But it could be, instead of decrypt, someone changed the name and put it like A or F or apostrophe or whatever. So how I will know what it is? I look most of the time inside the function, and I look most of the time what it takes as an input and what it returns as an output to understand what this function is going to treat. So the input it takes here is a string, one parameter, and this parameter should be like a sentence. This sentence turned out, in this case, to be this one, the V0, because V0 is going to be replaced as the input. And we take this sentence here, who doesn't have any meaning, and we decrypt this. We put it in the function decrypt as an input, and the output of this function is going to be another string. So I expect that once this input went inside the decryption, the output of this decrypt, which is a string, is the same version of this one, but the readable, like we can read it. And it's going to be saved inside V0. So V0 is another constant string, and inside V0 will be, let's say, the decrypted function of this one. Let's say we figure out it is hello, and it will be the real word hello. Now, how we know how we can decrypt this function? I know most of people got scared when some strings are encrypted. First, let's write it, because I want everyone to listen and read. You don't really need to decrypt the string to understand how the code works. So it doesn't matter what is the word inside this, the real word was like access, success, whatever. I don't care. If I'm able to analyze the Smali code, I don't really care what it is inside. So number one will be for me, you don't worry. You don't need to worry. Don't need to worry about the encrypted string. It doesn't matter. It's just to make it hard on you to bypass the code. All this here, if it wasn't encrypted, I will show you that. All this here will be replaced by one sentence. Will be constant string, like V0 and the real word. Let's say the real word is hello. So if you decrypt this and you find how it's decrypted, you can replace all this block by just one line. Instead of going from here to here, then here, you will replace them just one line. Now, how we know how the decryption is happening and what is the way the tools was used to decrypt? We go inside the decrypt function. Remember, decrypt function will take as an input an encrypted string, and it will give us the decrypted one. Let's see this decrypted way on this way, how it was made. So I will go and decrypt here, and I will go inside the function. So this is the decrypt function. Surprisingly and easy to see, under it we have also the encrypt function. Something you can notice so easily. The decrypt function, as well as the encrypt function, is using the same constant string. This is, guys, the key. When you encrypt something or you decrypt it, you use the same key. And this is the key to encrypt the string with and decrypt it. We didn't understand yet how we use it, but remember that. This here, V1, in the both cases, this string are hard-coded string. It's not a string coming from a server, whatever. So you can decrypt it manually by hand if you want. So I will show you what this decrypt function take. Oops, what's happened here? Okay. A lot of people got intimidated by like code, decrypt, encrypt, whatever, think that this is like rock science. It's not as hard as you think. But in all cases, you don't really need it. But let's go analyze this, because this is like a part of Smali. Let's enjoy this. The first one, let me say like P0, they called it as a value. So the input here is, they called it as a value. And then they have another function called decrypt. And surprisingly, The same guy who did all this tests for the app and if this piracy, whatever, is the same guy who developed, the same GitHub, who developed this encryption one. So, doesn't matter. Let's go inside this function here to understand how the real decryption is happening. So, the first decryption function, just call another description function, but this time this decrypt function, it takes 2 input instead of just 1. This one, the main one, take the encrypted string. The second one, it take 1 string and the second string. And as I told you, the V1 will be for the second one, and the P0 is going to be for the first one, and the V0 is going to be the output one. How I know that? So when you see this in Accolade, remember, the parameter you see, V, P0, V1, whatever, etc., maybe it's 10 parameter, doesn't matter. And when you see the function, like here in this case, decrypt, you have 2 parameters, like 1 and 2. The one close to this one is the same. So you start aligning them one by one. And the remaining one all the time will be an extra one. This extra one will be used for this or for the output. So in this case, the second one is the V1, is the key. And the first input is P0, which is the real string, encrypted string as an input. So let's go inside and you will understand it maybe better. This is a real decryption string, guys. Seems complex for you? Maybe. I would guarantee you it's not as hard as you think. Let's go have fun, guys. Here, they help you actually. Sometimes I don't add this. They said the first one is the data, the second one is the key. The second one here is the key, and the first one is the encrypted whatever string. So you take this as 2 as an input. We find the key before at this place, and we find the real string before at this place. So you take this one and the string and you enter them inside this one. He said, okay, let's have fun. Take a constant V0 and give it a value 2. And then V1 is a type of string. Okay, for now, we didn't see anything wrong. What's happened? But they said, this 2, take it to here. And this P1, the string, the encrypted string, put it at the second input. Those 2 are going to be run inside decode. And remember, this decode is to decode a sentence from base 64. This decode will take 2 values. The first value is a type string, which is the data, or the encrypted string. And the second value is V0, which is an integer, and you can see it here by the letter I, is an integer here. And what is the output? This is the first time I will demonstrate this output. This output is written that way. This means an array. So it's, I don't know if you have something in math knowledge. An array could be 1 column, which is like that. Could be double array. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this, whatever. Or could be like 6, 6. In this case, it's just one array, single array. Of what type of? What is inside this array is a B. B for byte. So the output, when we decode this string, the output is going to be an array. Let's write it, draw it here. And it's going to be letter. Let's say hello. Let's say this is the decrypted version of the base 64. Once you do this, this is what the security made. They don't use the normal base 64. They use the base 64 of each 2 bytes. So they make it more complex. It's actually the same as base 64, which is not really an encryption, it's just decoding, but use base 2. instead of using the standard one. Then this array of value, let's say, I will give you an example. This is the encrypted message. Let's say it's A, B, C. This is an encrypted message. When I pass it by the decode function, it turns out like F, R, S. I decode it based on the base 64. So this is now the output. They will take this output here, which is saved in the V2. They will enter it in the next function. The next function is the function XOR. The function XOR will take two parameters. The first parameter is the array of B, is this one. And the second parameter is a string, which is the key. And the output is going to be another array. But this array is the real decrypt version. So here they decrypted twice. The first time they use base 64, and the second time they use XOR. So what is XOR? Let's have fun. For people who know electronics, maybe XOR is not hard for them. So I found it for you. Encrypted using XOR is very, very interesting. Let's say X1 is the first set of message, and X2 is the key. You take bit by bit, and you do XOR between them. When the two numbers are exactly the same, 0, 0, you return it 0. 1, 1, you return it 0. When they are the same, you return it 0. When the two numbers are different, you return 1. So what is the advantage of this XOR method? Look at this. If I write this is the encrypted message, and this is the key, and this is the decrypt, it works in both sides. If I have the key, I can decrypt an encrypted message. But if I have the same key, I can also take the decrypt message and encrypt it. Let's see. When I have 0, 0, the same, it will be 0. When they are the same, it will be 0. If they are different, they will be 1. So XOR is an easy way to encrypt a message. You take the message, you take the key, this is the message, this is the key, and you do XOR between them. And the output, it will be the encrypted. If you take the encrypted version, you do XOR with the same key, you will get this one. The biggest advantage of this XOR is in electronic, it's very, very low level. It's very fast to execute. It needs like 4 transistors connected together. You do one function of XORs. The computer, the phone, the CPU, they are all made of transistors. And all these transistors will be executing XOR very, very fast because it's turn transistor on or off, 0 or 1. It's not like other encryption, AES or something. It's really heavy on the computer. XOR is a natural way to execute. It's one of the fastest encryption way and easy to decrypt actually. If you have the key, you know how to decrypt it. So now to use this tool, the second information this decrypt will tell you that the output file should be in format of UTF-8. And then all the other stuff you see here, try whatever, in case there is any mistake in the decryption, the system will keep trying, and if he failed at the end, he will execute the exception message. And then you do this decode, and then you decode it also, because it's going to be 64. You decode it again, you do XOR again, and then you get the output. So you do it twice. This is why by hand it will take long time. But this decryption method is going to take one time and second time. Someone who is good in coding, he can do this in Java very easily. I show a video how we decrypt AES, which is way more harder, by writing the Java code and decrypt any message when you find the key and the message. So this is the section for part 2. And now the last part, I'm going to discuss with you how we can bypass the login and how we can run and download the video in the app. And at the end, I'm going to share with everyone the modding file. You can go compare now and understand how I did it. Thank you very much. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the third part of this tutorial. In this part, we are going to discuss the remaining section, which is after I did the modification and I comment this to part where the check for Lucky Patcher or all others like apps, we hide them and we hide this box. Now I installed the app and I need to test it. So once we open it, we still have the same things. It's open and we didn't have any problem. This has happened like that is because I already opened it before. So if I want to see it exactly how it looked like after I download it, I need to go here, stop the app, go to the storage and clear the data. Now when I open it again, it's like the first time I'm opening the app. So it's going to ask me, hey, I want your permission to get access to your folder and all this other stuff. So let's open it again. This is what I'm talking about. Then here, bam. You remember the message was here with the exit? It's gone. So this is something new, good. Now we bypass this. Now let's go and accept. So now we are inside the app. Now if we go to the settings here on the side, we see this small menu. And this small menu is because we still not log in. We still not connected as a user. So we have the default one. In this default one, we can't do anything actually. We notice also that we have this dark mode. You remember when I was opening the app in the main activity, there was a test to check if it's dark or not. So we see if we click on this one, the theme of the app is going to change to light mode. So the app when you start it is going to ask a question or check if you are in the dark mode is activated or is not activated. Now let's go and see if I click on any of the videos or series. Let's click on this video here. Oh, we notice here that there was a message, download and watch video now, and we wasn't able to see it because we need to be connected. So if I connect to this video, if I connect to Google or phone, sign up, if I sign up in any of this way, I will be able actually to see probably the video. But the app is going to check after I sign in if I am actually subscribed to the channel or not. I'm not going to show here because I don't want anyone to know my email, and it's fair enough. But trust me, you can try it yourself. When you connect, it's for free to log in and create an account. But once you create an account, you will have another menu here. It's called subscription. And it's not going to allow you to watch any of the movie without subscribe to this. So here, two ways to crack it. The first way is create an account, log into the account, let's say via email or something, then crack the remaining part. After you are connected, crack to have the premium feature or the subscription. Other way to do it is like someone was asking in the group, and this is the way how I'm going to demonstrate here, is actually to make the app thinking that you are connected without applying any login. Okay, so let's demonstrate again that any content I'm going to click to it, I'm not able to see before first step, sign in. This is step number 1. Step number 2, after I sign in, I need to subscribe and pay money to be able to watch the content. I would like to bypass all this restriction and just open the app and be able to watch the video or download the movies without connecting and without paying. Let's do it. So now let's close those and then go to the app. So if you remember, we were here in create activity on create for the main activity folder. And in the part 2, I made a video to show how we can convert this description, how it works. But I will continue working without really replacing this value, without really knowing what these strings mean. Because I can do it automatically with a script on Empty Manager VIP, but people will think that you need VIP to understand. I'm going to do everything without any VIP. Or you can create your own Java file using this method in decrypt and decrypt all this code in your computer in another way. But here I'm not going to be worried about that. If I go down, I show you that there will be a test after this 2 messages decrypted. There will be a test. The first thing the app will test when you open the activity mode, main activity, is it a dark mode or not? How I know that this is the question, as I mentioned, because it's finished by Z. So there is a question: is it true or false? Are we in dark mode or we are not? If the app was the return value, which is the V0, if the V0 was equal to 0 in this test here, we are going to jump to condition 27. Condition 27 line is here. So we are going to set the white theme or the light theme, which exists at this address. This is the ID number of the layout. And this is what is interesting. Any layout has an ID, and this ID is an integer written in the format of hexadecimal. But the set theme will take just an input as an integer. So let's say I don't have the ID number, but I have a name. Can I set theme for this layout? Let's say the layout is called light theme. No, it will not work because the set theme has an input as an integer. So for sure I need to call this ID or this XML file in the format of an ID number. You see it here, and this part is for the dark theme. So in this app, these 2 values here are the ID value for the dark theme of the layout and for the light theme. And after you set the theme, you call another activity, which is the input of this is the bundle for OS, which is actually the theme itself, and you create it. Then you go down and you set the view, and the view by default is probably like the first page it happened with all the video and movies. So let's go inside, where is it? Dark is dark, and check where it's happened. Okay, actually is dark is an input field. We cannot change it. It's an input set as a public value. So the value of this is not setting by the code, it's setting by the app itself. So when I click on the is dark, when I click dark mode, this value is going to be changed, 0 or 1, depend on when I click during inside the app. Android itself is going to be responsible to transfer this information to the text file to do what it is recommended to do, if it was on or if it was off. Okay, so this is something really interesting. Other things, if we go back to only create, the only create to create the theme or the mode is defined, as I said, by the bundle is Android, OS is the operating system, and the bundle as the library responsible for this image to be created or this layout to be created. Now if we go lower after, so first thing, this only create do on the part on the top, I forgot to mention this, is setting what I called database. This database is going to be initialize the database, and this database is going to be use the function db. Okay, fair enough. So they create a database probably for the database of all the movies or stuff like that, doesn't matter. Then they have this two small string encrypted. After that is testing to see which mode is going to open. So if we keep going down, we see there is another section here. This section is about the signature, and also this value here is you need to decrypt it to know what it is. Then after it's going to check if there is any unauthorized app happen, but we bypass all this, so it's not a problem. Then it's going to check if there is enable APK check. Take another strings here and decrypt them, and another screens and decrypt them, and blah blah. So all this remaining is just setting new strings for the app. There is nothing here related to nothing here is related to the login or the ad blocks. When I go down here, I found this section because someone has add away, and this add away section is here. So this is the block where if you go inside this is where you check if you have add away or not. So how do I do this? Remember when I was inside the main activity? After they do all this and I load all the text and I check if it's dark mode or not, they check the signature, then they will move to see if you have any add block. It's funny why this is not in the same time like the Lucky Patcher. The easy answer is in Lucky Patcher they didn't activate the add block options, so the developer need to create them themselves. So here there is a test because it's called by Boolean, so it's mean like it's going to make a test on or off, true or false. So when I go inside this here to bypass this test, I can see that there is first section that will set a value constant for v0 as a 0. Then I will convert this 0 here to a false because it's the value of this number. 0 is false. So now the number, the object here, is equivalent to false. So it's mean add block activated? No, it's not activated. Then I will go here and I will try to do the test. So by default, the app think that add block is not activated. But then it's go here, it take another function, it exists in another library, and do a real test. If this time was activated, see what is the value of the boolean, convert it to 0 or 1, return it to v1. Now if v1 equals 0, it's meaning not activated, we said just go out, return 0 and go out. It's meaning like add blocker is not activated. If it was otherwise, put the value 1, convert this value to a boolean because the input here is boolean, is not C, so I need to convert it to boolean, and then return true. So the real test is not happening here, the real test is happening here. But you can simply bypass because by default they know that they set the value as a 0. So they said no, it's not true, and move result to object v0, and we are going to return an object v0. So to bypass this test, you could just after they set this by default as a 0, stop here, said okay, you know what, I finish, I'm not going to do the remaining code, I'm not going to test, I'm not going to go to another test and check it. You can do as you do here, return object v0. Like that. And why I didn't write return v0, I write object, because v0 is not a number, is a boolean type, and this boolean type, all the other type other than the numbers, could be set under the object, and Android will handle this. So by returning the object, I return what is the output, the correct output is requesting. If I go here and I said instead of this return v0, the app is going to crash if it do this test, because it's going to arrive to a place where the output here is supposed to be an integer or a z value, but the real output is boolean value. which is a real text saying true or false. So it's not going to work, it's going to crash. This is why I emphasize a lot about check what is the output of the function before you do any editing. And the easy way also to handle is see what really the function is going to return. Here is returning an object. So let's do return dash object. I didn't see anyone in any video showing that you can do this, but now you understand that. Object confuse a lot of people, but object is basically what is the type of the output. Could be some types of output very complex, but this type is easy to understand. So I can save here, and this way I bypass this one. I cannot test it because I don't have the add away, and I cannot install it because I'm not rooted. But the one who has add away, he can test because this one is bypassed. So now nothing is going to be executed here. But let's imagine it's executed. Let's go inside this after we did this editing and dig inside the code to see what's happened inside here. Okay, so this one exists in utilities library. The add blocker activated test is going to check many things. And one of the things are many boolean, if you notice here. There is a lot of boolean tests, and by default also, when you go inside the app, by default said, no, I don't have add block. Probably this will make the code faster because it doesn't need to execute any of this. But also he decrypt this text. Actually, I decrypt this one manually, and I found that this text here is the host. And if anyone knows, the add blocker add away will change the host file inside the Windows, Mac, Linux, or Android. And the host file is just a file what said which address are allowed, which address should be blocked. So this is all about the host file. And they check if this host file was changed or not, or the standard one. And then here he do different tests, and if those tests are okay, he will return no, there is no add block, or yes, there is add block because the host file was changed. Okay, so this utility, actually, when I was looking at this one, I went up to see what is else around it. We can also see here that also this utility library, when it checks the add blocks, if it's activated or not, is capable also of knowing the name of the app who blocks the ads. So it's capable of saying, hey, you are using an ad block, and sometimes I know which ad block you are using. Not just I look on the host file, but I can also find the app. So this part was mainly focused on this ad blocks. So we made these changes. Another changes, to not make the videos very long, I will go directly to it. There was a place inside the app. It's called paid control. Let's go find it to see. Like, if you dig inside the code, you will arrive to this position, but I show you already how to dig, so you follow the page of subscriptions, login, whatever, and you will arrive here. It exists in a detail activity, which is also some place where they was testing if you have lucky patcher or all this stuff. So the method here is defined on this place, and it has been called on one place also inside the same app. So let's go to this method. And here, there is a test. It's funny because I encrypt those words. They didn't encrypt the input or the parameter. So now we know there was a test here. He said, take the first constant, which is decrypted, decrypt this function, and check if it's equal or not to P1. So here, let's say this one here, if it was equal is paid after you decrypted, then the test will run and will be okay. We don't know yet, and we don't really care what it is the real value. Let's follow the code and see what it is going to test. Do this test here, see if they are equal, and return the test value to V0. If V0 equal 0, it means no, they are not equal. If V0 equal 1, they mean yes, they are equal. So it means they are paid. Then I will go here and we said, okay, after that, set another value, 08. 08, when I see it, directly I know that somewhere there will be visibility. Set visibility, you remember I do show a video. When you have 08, mean put it gone. So don't show the message or the page or anything set visibility is going to do. So this is interesting here to keep an eye on V1. And then I will set again V0, V2 as I0. And I will go a test here and set if they are equal or not. So I know if they are equal, if equal 0, so this means they are not equal, jump directly to condition or to the line of where the condition 85 exists. If it's true, they are equal, this means this encrypted value message here is the same as is paid. Then run the remaining code. Look, this remaining code, how easy to understand. I don't know if someone will find it hard. Look. First, who will check if I'm logging in or not? So from here, if I said that because the output of this function is z, it means is 0 or 1. So if I said this value here equal 1, it means like I'm logged in. Also if I'm not, but I can fake my login. And then here we said, okay, you are paid because I checked before and you are is paid is true. Now your plan is active. For sure I would said yes, I want it also to be 1, the output, to tell the software that I am active. And it's not just an active plan. He do another test, said, are you a valid user? And I will also say, yes, I am a valid user. When all this is good, he is going to change the layout. You see here, relative layout, and is going to set visibility to the integer I who take the input v2. And remember, we go up where it is. Here, he will take the visibility v2, which is 0, and the message will appear if this condition was wrong. And then he will change the subscription layout and will set this time the visibility to v1, which is 8, or he will remove the visibility. And he will do other things here, checking is it valid again, and he will run many tests. Now let's see, how can I make that I am all the time log in? If I code inside this one, check what is going to happen. I arrived to this page. This page said, okay, you take this context, you have one encrypted message, you go inside, you change the preference, you decrypt the message, and you check, are this true or not? So whatever is going to happen here is going to look inside the preference in Android content, and if this is true, that you are logged in, he will say, yes, you are logged in. I don't want him to go and do this. I want him to give me that I am logged in all the time. So whatever happened here, I can just say, you know what? You are going to ask Android to know if I am logged in or not. Ignore all this. My output here is what matters. If I said the output equals 0, the output, it means no, I'm not logged in. If I said I am 1, he said yes, I am logged in. I can just here come where it is and said let's make it equal 1. So I said return v0, and we said this time I want to set v0 to true. So yes, I am logged in. Anytime you come here and you check if I am logged in, you will return directly yes, without testing anything here. And now save this and go back. Let's go to the next one. I am active plan. Let's go inside. The active plan is going to take another context, and this context actually, if you check, is going to check two values. is going to check our status value, which is this value here, and it's going to check the decrypt value exists here inside this log, which is an input of to Java. The output is a number, and he's going to say they are equal. If they are equal, yes, you are active. If they are not equal, you are not active. Okay, doesn't matter. Let's go here and do the same. But you can set whatever, v0, v1, v2, whatever. But why I check v0? Because you should not exceed the number exists in the registry. Because here we have already the number v0. And we have v0, this is 2, and we have v1. This is a 3 registry. If I want to use v4, I need to change the value here to increase the number of registry. So I use by default v0 because usually by default if I see any registry here, I check that v0 exists, I can reuse it. And then I will return v0. This means I return 1 and I save it. The third one is I am valid. Let's go inside. And this one, let's understand this because this is funny. This is a new way to see. So the input is also from type context. Context means like I'm asking Android to check something. So the first thing, he will take this, where it is the v0, and will update the time. To update the time, he need also use Android. And once he update the time, he will give the value of the updated time as a string. Return it here. So now this object is a string object. Now he will see what was the time that has been saved when we subscribe to check if we are still valid. So why he's doing this? When I subscribe, let's say I subscribe for 1 month. Let's say in January. They check here, I said, yes, you are subscribed in January. And he's going to check the time today. And then he said, oh, you are in April. So because your subscription is for 1 month, so it's not anymore valid. So he got the time, he checked what was the time before, and he have it as a format G. G mean long. The time is usually saved as a long digit, long integer. And then he will check the current time because he want to see, okay, what is the update time now? Let's see. This is what you save. This is what you have now. And he will check to do, let's say, if there is any difference between these two. And how much the length of this difference. So he will take the value of the current time, put it in v3. And the value of the save time, put it in v1. And he will say, hey, compare these two values, v1 and v3. And the result, put them in v5. So let's say the save time was in January, the current time is in February. He will count here what is equivalent in 30 days. But the value here in v5 will be saved in milliseconds. So he will count how many milliseconds from 1997, I think, and he will make the difference and he will compare these two values here. Now he will say, okay, the first test I will say, if less or equal 0, v5. So when he do the difference, if v5 was less or equal 0, this means negative value. This means v1, the save time, which is the v1, v3, the current time. When you do the difference, if it was 0, it means you still have time. If it wasn't, return that you don't have any more time. Because if the difference is still big, so if the save time is bigger when your contract is finished, bigger than what you are today, it means you still have time. So it's negative value. If it's negative value, return yes, it's valid. If it wasn't negative value, say no, your contract is finished. So sometimes in trial version, this is what they do. Give you trial version for 7 days. Your save time is when you need to finish. Let's say I need to finish in Saturday 17. And today we are Friday 16. He will make the difference between these two. But remember, he will make v3 minus v1. 16 minus 17, he will find minus 1. In this case, you didn't finish because you still have 1 extra day. So it's going to return that you're still valid. Otherwise, he said, no, your time is finished. So return 0. In this case, I would say, hey, my time, I'm valid all the time. So whatever is going to happen, I want you to return all the time 1. I'm going to do it all again. V0, because we have it here, I can reuse it. And I will say, I am valid, so return all the time 1. And return V0. Save it. What else is going to happen? All the other stuff is based on all the 4 tests we had here. So first, to resummary this, when you find the right place, this is how the logic is. Here there is 4 or 5 tests, let's count them. First one is here. He check, are you paid? So he tried to encrypt it here, but you don't care because you find it here. We said, yes, we are paid. So here we didn't say, yes, we are paid, yes, let's change it. Constant for V0, the return here is in V0. And I want this V0 to be 1. So now I'm telling him that, yes, we are paid. Second, are you logged in? We edit this and we said, yes, we are logged in. So here this value is going to be equal 1. Third time, he said, are you using an active plan? I said, yes, I'm using an active plan. And the last verification, he said, are your subscription still valid? You still have time in subscription? If I subscribe for 1 year, do I still have time? I make it all the time equal 1. What that mean? Lifetime subscription open. And by finish, we compiling the file, and then let's go exit. Yeah, save and exit. It's okay. Just because probably any mistake could happen, I could run the one I did before, or I can run also the one we finished today. So let's run this. Maybe I made a typo mistake and will crash while I'm recording the video, but I'm going to share this info, and all this info exists in the same file. So now let's open. Okay, it's loading. We are in the light mode. So when I open here, you notice now I have a very long one, and I have subscription. And I can sign out. It's me by default, I'm signed in, but I didn't sign anything. If I go to subscription, it's not going to open because I said do not open this page. It's going to return back to the normal home page because there is no subscription. It's cancelled. It's all the time on. And now, also if I try to sign out, we said, okay, you are signed out. I move back, and I'm not signed out actually. So it's not going to sign out. Now let's see if the movie are going to work. If I open here, no more sign in. Let's open directly to the page. Because I said I'm an active one, if I click for watch now, the movie, I don't know if you can see this, but the movie starts running. If I ask for download, it's one, where is it? Yeah, it's here. Oops, I take it off. Okay, but if I click on download, it said like here, download is started. If I go back and go to home and I go to download, I can start seeing my download. Don't be jealous, guys, my download is so fast because my internet is so fast. Okay, so this is how we crack it. And now I'm going to upload this video with this APK, and you can try everything by yourself. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye bye.